So, my first video log. This is like a video diary that I hope to do. So it's day 3. We have now been living on the hard for 3 days. We came up here Saturday morning, so that means we were actually on time. That's the first time we've ever left for a trip on time. In fairness, we cheated a little bit in the sense that we still have some stuff in Berlin that we want to go back tomorrow and do, well, to pick up. And thankfully, Patrick's parents are allowing us to do that by, taking our kids for the day. We could totally go back with them and come back, but the problem with that then, of course, is that there's no space, so we'd have to do 2 trips. So, so there's a little bit of cheating. We are going back to Berlin tomorrow for the day, but without the kids, and the main thing is we've been sleeping on the boat. So it's been both good and bad. It feels fantastic, of course, to be here, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really looking forward to the actual sailing aspect. But as anyone who probably has lived on the hard will tell you, it has its challenges. One of which, of course, when you have 2 small children, is a ladder. So you get pretty sick and tired of going up and down the ladder all the time, because when you have 2 small children, there's always something that they need, or you forgot, or it gets cold, or it gets too hot, or you realize you've run out of diapers. But that, again, is minor annoyances. But one thing that I do find in the Complete Honesty channel, and this is not me complaining, this is just the way it is, especially at first. As you know, I've been trying to put everything away, and everything's everywhere, and the boat is not a super big space, even when you have a big boat. So when you have a small boat, it's particularly challenging. And so I have all this stuff everywhere that I'm trying to put away. And of course, the kids want to help, and you don't want them to help because they're not really helping. So the grandparents take them for a little bit every day. That's fantastic. I get a couple of hours to actually work on this. And so in that way, it's getting better and better and better. But of course, that also means at the moment I'm not working on my writing. And like Patrick said to me, you know, calm down. This is to be expected. And this first week, we knew that we had to get the boat ready. Like he said, he's not out drinking beer with his buddies. He's constantly working on the outside of the boat while I work on the inside of the boat. And I understand that. And I agree. And that's why I haven't said no way. Because part of this trip thing was that the agreement was that I get to work on my writing, and that every day I get to have some time to myself, at least an hour, but preferably 3, where I can do some writing, I can do some promotion, I can make contacts, all the things. I'm making bubbly noises, I don't know. We shouldn't be making bubbly noises. We're not on the water, but it's just old cereal from this morning, which I haven't had a chance to wash yet because we don't have running water. Which is, again, the kind of, so basically all these little inconveniences that being on the hard brings for the start of a trip, so they kind of compound a little bit. You need stuff that you don't know where it is. Sometimes you find out that something you thought you packed, you left in Berlin. So even though we know we'll get it on Tuesday, it's like, oh, my new toothbrush, I wanted a new toothbrush. So tiny, but it's the kind of thing that with each little thing that takes it. The best thing was actually my brother. He told me once when I got so upset, my kid had done something, I don't even remember which one, it was actually MJ at the time. And it was such a small thing, and I flipped out. And I was like, afterwards I said to both of them, I'm so sorry, that was not necessary. I shouldn't have flipped out over that. And like my brother said to me at the time, he was like, okay, yeah, you're right. That was a small thing that you should have flipped out about. But it wasn't really that you were flipping out about. It was the 40 other small things that she had done up until that point, and that kind of just pushed you over. And I think that's something that we don't always appreciate, and we should be thinking about this in all aspects of our lives, but especially if we want to do a big trip. And that is to think about things like, okay, how can I make this as easy as possible? Because just the fact that you're in a new element all day long, all the time, is going to be stressful. You're going to have to think about these things. And the easier things are, the more reserves you have. You're not pulling on these reserves. And I think that's essential. And that's one thing that's going on now this week, is that everything is so we've got the excitement of moving on board. We've got the kids kind of going, why aren't we gone home yet? It's been 3 days. We've got the fact that everything is everywhere, and I'm still trying to find stuff, and I still don't know where it is. And I'm kind of a high-strung person anyway when it comes to that kind of thing. I don't like not knowing where my stuff is. And so all of it together, and then you also have sometimes the weather's not so nice, so you can't send the kids outside, and then Patrick was trying to find things that he also realized he left in Berlin, and he thought he had to take it here. And so, it all compounds, and you get frustrated sometimes. And then you realize you blow up, and then you calm down. You're like, okay, actually, no, it is worth it. I just need to get these things out. But that's one thing I would definitely tell anyone is, first off, expect good days, bad days. There's something about the cycle of 3 that you go whoosh and then whoosh before going back up again. And finally, yeah, make it as easy as possible on yourself and know your limits beforehand. That's why we bought that electric motor, because I couldn't start the other one. It took me forever, and I was half nervous that the boat was going to flip, the dinghy, and I'm pulling and pulling on this gasoline motor, and finally we decided to spend 3 times the money. But like I said, spending 3 times the money now might actually make the difference between me wanting to stay on this trip or not. Because if I'm always afraid to get on the boat or afraid to take the dinghy by myself because I can't start it and come back, then I'm also getting frustrated because I want to do something but I can't. I'm getting mad at Patrick that I'm dependent on him. It's something that really doesn't work well. And yeah, but other than that, I would say that today is not such a good day. It's a bit stressful. It's cold, it's wet, it's gray, and I'm finding it, 3 days without my writing, without my yoga, without anything, it's grating on my nerves, and I'm starting to get but it's not I regret we had ever agreed to do this. It's not I want to change things. And I think it's also important that you should be able to talk about this with your partner or whoever your travel person is, or even with yourself if you're doing something like this alone, to realize that, it's life. It's not a vacation. It's an adventure at best. And hopefully it'll become your everyday life for a long time. So there's going to be things that aggravate you. That doesn't mean you pack it up and go home, or that you never wanted to do it, but rather that you keep these things in mind before flipping out.